This is the Dollemore Daily, and I'm Jesse Dollemore. Months ago, I said that if Marjorie Taylor Greene gets her committee assignments back, she is going to make a mockery of the process. She is going to turn whatever moment that she has with a microphone and a camera aimed at her into a clickable, possible viral moment for Fox News and Newsmax to run with. We've seen some congresspeople who are talking about things on social media say that this is all engineered, that when there's no cameras and it's an executive session of a committee is what it's called when there's no cameras there, and they typically talk about classified or sensitive information. It's a whole different story. They act differently. They're more demure. They're more respectful. Because there's no camera there, there's no one to play to. Marjorie Taylor Greene has done exactly what many, not just me, but many people asserted that she would do. And yesterday was a moment. The Homeland Security Committee on Oversight held a hearing. And this speaks to exactly what the agenda of the Republican Party is. This is an announcement from their website. This was for yesterday. Tomorrow at 2 p.m., meaning yesterday, Bishop to hold subcommittee hearing on left-wing violence. That's what Republicans are dedicating their time, their precious, finite committee time to, is left-wing violence. When the FBI and the Homeland Security Administration has warned us that the prominent domestic terror threat in the United States, the primary threat, is right-wing violence. Nazis just marched on Washington, D.C. last weekend, and they're holding a hearing about left-wing violence. Where's all this left-wing violence? Here's their little statement about it. Washington, D.C., tomorrow, Tuesday, May 16th, 2023, at 2 p.m. Eastern, House Homeland Security Subcommittee on Oversight, Investigations, and Accountability Chairman Dan Bishop will hold a hearing for National Police Week on the Department of Homeland Security's DHS failure to adequately prepare and support law enforcement organizations in the wake of violence perpetrated by left-wing agitators, as well as how anti-police rhetoric has negatively impacted law enforcement's ability to carry out their mission and ensure the safety of our communities. And who did they invite, the Republicans? A mediocre collegiate swimmer, Riley Gaines, who's an anti-trans bigot. That's who they invited to testify. Some writer for a right-wing publication, townhall.com. And the Democrats got on the slate someone from the incoming chief executive officer of the Jewish Council for Public Affairs, and she was testifying on behalf of Human Rights First, a human rights organization that tracks extremism and the misuse of technology, a great organization. And Marjorie Taylor Greene, we're going to get to the clip here. Marjorie Taylor Greene, one, just is being a smug asshole related to her name, mispronouncing her name. And then, well, I'll just play that. That's very brief, just to give you a flavor, again, for Marjorie Taylor Greene.
That while we're talking about white supremacy, Miss Spitalnik, you were talking about white supremacy.
It's Spitalnik.
Oh, I apologize, Spitalnik. Miss Spitalnik, while you were talking about white supremacist and abortion,
Gross. So here's the actual clip, though. Here's the main clip where Marjorie Taylor Greene, listen, first of all, what left-wing violence, what problem with left-wing violence do we have in this country that needs a dedicated hearing to it, where they completely ignore the actual stated threat from our intelligence community, from the FBI, from Homeland Security, that right-wing, white nationalist, white Christian nationalist violence is the real threat. QAnon is a real emerging domestic terror threat. They're not left-wing, but they ignore that. And here's Marjorie Taylor Greene making an all colors matter argument related to the actual threat of violence predicated by politics. Watch this.
To have lives as American citizens, the right for them to be born, the right for them to be given a chance to live as free Americans instead of murder. You think this is funny, Ms. Spitalnik? Is this funny to you? Is babies being murdered in the womb funny to you? Because you're smirking and laughing at me right now.
What's not funny are the black people and Hispanic people and Jewish people and Muslim people who have been murdered in synagogue, in church, in supermarkets, in mosques by white supremacists.
Are you aware that all colored people are murdered? That is a fact, that every single color person has been murdered. That's not unusual. It's not just that people of color are murdered. White people are murdered too. Murder is not just for minorities. That may be a shock to you because you seem to dive deeply into all kinds of misinformation and seem to be uninformed yourself. But if you're going to talk about white supremacy and abortion, you need to study very hard about who the targets are. And it's not just black women, and it's not just black babies, it's Hispanics as well. And I think that's important for you to understand. And if you apparently care about human rights and you care about studying extremism, let's have a little talk about extremism, shall we? I think that's important because that's what this hearing is all about.
She's trying to tell her that all people get murdered in a hearing that they're proposing specifically addresses left-wing murderers or violence. And by the way, that is a memeable moment that she's saying, you're smirking and laughing at me right now. Let me tell you, it's not just the witness who is smirking and laughing at you, Marjorie Taylor Greene. It's the rest of the country. We're all smirking and laughing at what a clown you are, what an entertaining farce of a human being you are. And this all colors matter. Look, it's the same with the all lives matter versus Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter, all lives matter cannot be what it is until Black Lives Matter. And when you're trying to act like it's all on even footing here, that political violence perpetrated largely by right wing, largely by white males in this country, when we're talking about mass shootings, I mean, overwhelmingly, to say largely is incorrect. Overwhelmingly, when you hear about a mass shooting, it has been perpetrated by a white male. Overwhelmingly. You've got your onesies and twosies. And if it's not perpetrated by a white male, it is perpetrated by right-wing ideology. The Allen, Texas shooter with his swastika tattoos and his SS bolt tattoos. And now you've got Elon Musk out there saying, oh, he wasn't a white supremacist. Yeah, because normal people have swastikas tattooed on their skin. Come on. This is disgraceful. The fact that the de facto Speaker of the House, Marjorie Taylor Greene, who rules with an iron fist over Kevin McCarthy, is allowed to do this with impunity is just a derailment of the actual work that Congress needs to do. I mean, even the fact that they're holding a hearing on left-wing violence. Again, what left-wing violence? And then they've got their star batter, Marjorie Taylor Greene, there to make a mockery of it even further. Anyway, what do you think? I would love to know. You can call. Leave me a brief voicemail. Brief, please. 714-576-4054. Of course, you can email me daily@dollemore.com. If you appreciate what I do, I would very much appreciate it. Urge you even to help support my work. You can click the join button below, become a channel member for $1.99 a month. You can give via super chat. There's a button there for that. You can also, even better, go over to patreon.com/IDoubtItPodcast and support my work there. Follow me on social media. I am at Dollemore on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I'd love to see you there. And I will see you next time. Until I do, be genuine, be less like Marjorie Taylor Greene, and take care of one another.